Hello, freak bitches.
Exactly.
Boy, it sounds good, doesn't it? God, I want to believe. So hard.
Well, I hope you do, because there's gonna be a lot of stuff.
Well, I want to know what you've seen though. So you've seen this piece of metal. What else have you seen?
I've seen many documents on the studies of these things, and I've seen a lot of the science associated with what the technology is and what it does. Like, I could show you, if I fold up pieces of paper and stuff, what's going on with it. But basically, these craft, they travel in a straight line, but they're folding space-time.
Like in Event Horizon, where they explain it by folding a piece of paper and punching a pencil through it. Did you ever see that movie?
Yeah, it's kind of like that.
Great fucking movie.
But it's more like, here, I can draw it for you here. Not that this is it's kind of like when you have 2 points, we're used to traveling in a direction like that. Mm-hmm. And so when we look up, we see a plane that goes straight.
Right.
But these UFOs fold space-time like this. And so it looks like, to them, they're going in a straight line. So if you're in the ship, you see that. Mm-hmm. But if you're on the ground, you see that.
Oh, okay.
Which, if you go back to the early reports of quote-unquote flying saucers, the reports don't actually say that the craft looked like saucers. It says they were triangular delta craft that moved like saucers skipping across water, that like a stone or a saucer.
A lot of those videos they're on, it looks like they're jumping. It's just because of this.
So
they're folding space-time.
Some way of interfacing with space itself that's very different than our idea of traveling in a linear way from point A to point B.
Space, the fabric, they call it the fabric of space-time because it's like a fabric. It's malleable.
The flying saucer term actually comes from a case in the Northwest, where I'm at right now. Kenneth Arnold is the big case. He was flying a small plane, and while he was in the air, he saw a number of craft flying in formation. And he said that they moved like plates skipping across a flat surface or water. And he used the term saucer to describe, again, this sort of skipping motion. And out of that came the whole term flying saucer.
Technology being able to take over your thoughts, your memories, even your voice, essentially stealing your human consciousness. And then there's the data centers. That's what we've been talking about, right? But I think there's something a lot older and bigger going on here than what we've already talked about. Let me show you. This is Tom Delonge, the co-founder and guitarist for Blink-182. Bet you didn't think we were going there. But outside of Blink-182, Tom here has an interesting career. And because of that career, he gave an interview that I want you to listen to.
There's a pyramid in Alaska. There's a pyramid and it's underground. And they've been studying it for decades. It's not that far from Valdez, I believe.
Now I know what you're thinking. The guy's a musician. What does he know? Until you understand that his other job is chasing UFOs. And he's partnered up with the Army. So, a little validation is there. But I want you to listen to what he says.
And I know a very important person that from the Pentagon that met with one of the lead defense contractors that were studying it, and they said, we think we finally know what it's doing. It's all turned on. We think it's suppressing consciousness. That's what he said. The legend is...
It's turned on and it's suppressing human consciousness. That's really interesting, especially when you know that most pyramids, especially the ones in Egypt, have a frequency, a low rumble or a hum that it emits at all times. Now, that hum is something people have been hearing across the United States here in the recent years. But it's actually been happening for decades, and it's worldwide. This is New Zealand, Wales, even Australia. And like I said, this hum has been heard for decades now. The first time it was reported was in 1970. Now there's something else that gives out a hum at all times, and that's data centers. And remember I said the hum started in 1970? Well, guess what else started in 1970? The IT industry. But I'm sure it's all just a coincidence, right?
General McCaslin was definitely into some very bizarre things indeed. Did you know if you were to search his name in the Podesta emails, you know John Podesta, who was a long-term associate of the Clintons, Bill Clinton's chief of staff between 1998 until 2001, who he and his brother Tony are basically demons themselves. I had spoke about the horrific artwork, or quote-unquote artwork I should say, involving children that his brother owns. William McCaslin's name will appear in the emails. But not just McCaslin, but also his wife as well, Susan McCaslin Wilkerson. In an email from Tom DeLonge to John Podesta, Tom DeLonge was a member of Blink-182. He became a heavy UFO and alien researcher to the point he founded the Stars Academy of Arts and Science. He collaborated with military officials, and he believes these things are interdimensional, something we have been hearing a lot of lately. It's very interesting how they moved away from these things being swamp gas, weather balloons, to little green men from another planet, to now something more interdimensional. This email was dated on January 25th, 2016, and the subject is General McCaslin. He mentioned he's a skeptic. He's not. I've been working with him for 4 months. I just got done giving him a 4-hour presentation on the entire project a few weeks ago. It goes on to say, trust me, the advice has already been happening on how to do all this. He just has to say that out loud. But he is very, very aware, as he was in charge of all of the stuff. When Roswell crashed, they shipped it to the laboratory at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. General McCaslin was in charge of that exact laboratory up to a couple years ago. He not only knows what I'm trying to achieve, he helped assemble my advisory team. He's a very important man. Best, Tom DeLonge. This email going to John Podesta, I don't know what Podesta's response was, but Podesta set up a meeting, and one of the people to go ahead and accept that meeting was Susan McCaslin Wilkerson, General McCaslin's wife. There was another email where General McCaslin himself acknowledges the meeting to John Podesta, but one of the people CC'd in this email is mfisher@hillaryclinton.com, which connects directly to Hillary Clinton's campaign website. The final email was from John Podesta to General McNeil clarifying the time.
This idea that certain races are superior also appears in our conceptions of Atlantis and Atlantean beings, something that Tom DeLonge spoke about quite a lot, which is kind of alarming.
And in some of those stovepipes, they've come to the conclusion, this is what's so crazy, but I'm going to say it, that Atlantis was real. And something was very important about that time frame, and very important about who the humans were at that place.
This idea that there were people from back then who were able to do remarkable things, and that perhaps they're still around. When Tom DeLonge came out, having spoken with these insiders and these government advisors, they told him, number one, the UFO phenomenon was bad news, but also that it had a hive mind.
The UFO phenomenon has a hive mind. These creatures, they potentially don't have souls. They're like clones, and they worship their own technology to some degree, because they cannot stand the frequency of elevated human consciousness.
Right.
So what's the best way to keep us from elevating our consciousness? You crash a craft and the transistor pops up, and you get video games and iPhones and all these things that you walk around like what? A cyborg.
Right.
A soulless little hive mind, all getting direction from devices.
Isn't it interesting that they talk about the UFO phenomenon in those terms?
So you think this is like the most important thing that you've ever done in your life?
Oh, fuck yeah. Like, I have meetings with senators coming up. Like,
do you?
Oh, fuck yeah.
What senators?
I can't tell you.
Damn, it's all this I can't tell you stuff.
I know, because
So
this is some fucking tricky shit.
When is all this going to come out? Seems like this is an animate disclosure type shit.
Watch
right?
what my company does. That's what I'll say. Different races are coming here, and they're trying to win and against each other.
So there's more than one
Oh,
race.
yeah.
How many
this
different ones
universe we're talking about.
Right. But there's a bunch of different creatures, and they all have the same sort of technology?
Yeah, and some are very human. Some are clones. They look just like you and I.
Really?
Absolutely, yeah.
Now, is there any sort of speculation as to why create a life form that's exactly similar to us? Are they imitating what we look like in order to infiltrate our world and hang with us?
I think probably
unknowingly.
I think all the above. You know, I personally think the little aliens with the big black eyes, those are androids. They're biological robots. They're just programmed. There's no different than us cloning sheep. They just clone a being that can travel through space, because space
or
is very
some sort
big.
of an artificial intelligence thing that
It
doesn't
is
have
AI.
a life form, right?
It is.
I've heard that idea before, and it kind of makes sense a little bit, right? I mean, if you're a living thing and you're traveling through space, obviously you have biological limitations. And
One of the
fuck
scary
with us.
hallmarks of those ones, the rumor is it in the back of their head is a transmitter. So you got to wonder where it's sending shit. But civilians have the same kind of ranking charter that the brass does. So a SES-3, SAS-3 would be the same thing as a 3-star general. So that's who these people are around me. So I had the head of the Skunk Works, engineering. I got, a SIS 2-star from the clandestine Directorate of Operations. I have a guy under Secretary of Intelligence for the Senate Intelligence Committee. They are current consultants to the intelligence community.
Okay. And involved in this project with clearance?
They all have their top secret TSSCI clearances, yeah. I'm the only one that does it. On my entire team, I'm the only one that does it. Actually, Lou was head of all classified operations for Secretary of Defense Mattis. So he was what's called a GS-15, right underneath the 1, 2, and 3 stars. He ran the Advanced Aerial Threat Program, and it's still continuing to this day, and he's with us now.
So the Advanced Aerial Threat Program under the United States government is essentially a UFO
That's one of the
information gathering and
yes,
assessment.
Assessment of all of what those machines are doing that gives off all these types of effects that people are witnessing. That program is trying to figure out what those technologies did to those people and how those technologies work. But this is different than the Secret Machines book.
But they've never alluded to minerals,
Empire,
sperm, eggs.
I think it's
cheese.
I think it's tacos.